My name's Jason Mulligan and I'm a stone sculptor based in Kent. My current practice stems from a direct interest in archaeological and anthropological objects. I've always had a fascination with prehistoric art, myth and folklore. Growing up in Northern Ireland, I was surrounded by museums filled with ancient Celtic art and prehistoric monuments that were dotted all across the landscape. Objects that have been found in these places, such as stone tools, flints, axe heads and club heads, paddles and even shields, are all objects that I'm drawn to. For me, ancient art and artifacts has always sparked my curiosity, especially this notion of communicating through the making of objects and showing them to people. These cabinet sculptures are what I call objects from my Excavation Series. They're stone artifacts and implements which have an edge, a point or a percussion surface, sort of implying that they might once have been tools from a kind of a lost civilization. I mean, the stone that I've been using is called Bethersden marble, and it's found not too far from my studio in Kent. It's not commercially quarried. It has a really shallow bed, and it was uncovered through agricultural farming, and I kind of like this part of its history as it sort of makes the material feel rather ancient and rare. It has thousands of shells of freshwater gastropods and winkles contained within its structure, and I especially love this colour, and it kind of adds an air of primeval past about it. I really enjoy playing around with and making reference to different ancient cultural artifacts, along with many other kind of forms within my work. My own stone interpretations of axe heads and hammer heads sort of attempt to recall some sort of past primeval state. I mean, the small handheld objects are presented as unique, precious, almost sacred. I kind of like this idea that they could have been carried around and regarded as sacred and auspicious objects for lost civilization. I normally start an experiment with small handheld work, and then it normally gets transferred and realised, but there's not necessarily a real understanding of what I might end up with. Taking some of the smaller works and scaling them up create sometimes a very different challenge, and it also creates a completely different kind of sculptural object for me. The axe heads and the hammer heads I'm currently working on have been modified. I mean, their use and their functions kind of not quite clear, and by grouping them together as a pair, they almost take on figurative connotations, like sentinels or male and female deities. The intention that I'm sort of searching for is that they'll stand on guard, overlooking and sort of protecting the prevailing landscape. I suppose the process is a bit like an archaeologist sort of uncovering fragments from a dig. I mean, you're slowly sort of removing the material, and as it's removed, then whatever is left sort of comes into existence. When getting towards the completion of a piece of work, I do get several moments of slight puzzlement before there's any clarity to the work. I think to myself, what have I just made? Or what have I brought into this world, and who and what am I trying to communicate with? Once the form and the line is correct, I have to spend some time sort of just looking, kind of speculating and recognising what it is in front of me. I mean, it's only over time, when I've allowed the idea to sort of settle after having spent some time with the work, that I can kind of move on. I mean, I sometimes wonder how I would have fared back in the Paleolithic kind of period. This was seen to be kind of the longest period of human development, which, I mean, I think the first stone tools date back 3.3 million years ago. Fortunately, my period of development is a lot shorter, of around 4 weeks, I think, to complete this work, and I think I've done enough sort of speculating for the moment and just kind of need to get on, do a bit more carving.